Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a brand new video, and today we're going to be talking about 5 pieces of footwear that I think every rugby player should own. Now, the inspiration behind this video was just me thinking about like the current kit I have and kind of, the shoes that I'd take with me on a match day, and also the shoes that I have with me for training. And I just thought, why not share the insight with you guys? And you might be able to recognize that you might not own one of these pairs of shoes and you might actually need them, whether you're playing club rugby, school rugby, or a higher level of rugby, maybe that's representative or even professional. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, guys, my name's Hassan. I make videos about how rugby players can improve their skill sets and improve their knowledge of the game, and ultimately I'm trying to help rugby players play at a higher level. So with that being said, guys, if this is something that you're interested in and you want to find out more in terms of the content that I'm posting and get updated, be sure to subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot and it also supports the growth of the channel. And yeah, let's get straight into the video, guys. So the first shoe that I could recommend to any rugby player is making sure that you have a really good pair of soft ground rugby boots. And these are really important because obviously they're going to be your main staple piece of footwear for when you're playing rugby, especially during games. The fact that it's got metal studs is really good, especially if you're playing somewhere like in England, for example, where a lot of the pitches are wet and muddy. You need lots of traction, and yeah, you want to make sure you have your main pair of match boots in good condition. You want to make sure that they haven't got any major tears or rips or holes in them. You want to keep them in good pristine condition, and yeah, these are going to be the main boots you wear on game day. And you want to make sure that you're looking after your boots, maintaining them well. After they get really muddy, make sure you're cleaning off that mud, looking after them. Make sure the metal studs are screwed in tight as well. You want to really make sure that you can look after these boots, as these are the boots that you're going to invest the most amount of money in, and these are going to be the ones that you wear on when you're hopefully performing at your best on the pitch and hopefully getting some big wins for your team. Now, obviously, when you're not in games, you don't want to be wearing your boots on all the time, in my opinion, because rugby boots only can take so much wear and tear before they start to break down in terms of the material, etc, etc. So I would recommend investing potentially in a cheaper pair of firm ground or artificial grass boots. Now, these boots are going to be great for when you do your training sessions, or if you're training or playing on an artificial surface, for example a 3G or an AstroTurf pitch. This is because when you have the big metal studs, they don't seem to sink into the ground properly, and the problem with this is it can cause a lot of ache and stress on the joints, especially in the knees. And I've also seen it and witnessed it myself, where players have actually injured themselves in terms of sustaining leg injuries, from twisted ankles all the way to like ACL and really serious knee injuries that required surgery. So I could only recommend you guys to ensure that you have a pair of these boots when you're playing on artificial surfaces or firm ground, just to make sure that you're protecting yourself and you're not exposing yourself to the risk of attaining any injuries that you don't want to be attaining, or to make sure that your performance is boosted by having the right pair of shoes on based on the environment. I think it's nice as well just to have, for example, for me, I play prop, so I have a nice big heavy duty pair of Adidas Kakari boots which I wear on game day. But then me personally, I've got a pair of Nike Tiempo boots which I like to wear on during training, because I train on a 3G pitch for my university team. So it's nice to not have those big clunky boots on that artificial surface. I just feel a bit more light on my feet, and yeah, it's awesome because I'm not really doing any intense scrummaging on the artificial surface, so it just means that I can give my feet a bit more lightweight feeling, but also making sure my match boots stay in tip-top condition for when I need them, when I'm playing on the muddy grass pitches and needing that extra support from the metal studs. And then the next shoe that I'm going to recommend to any rugby player is a solid pair of gym shoes. Now, depending on your age, I would recommend a different shoe. So if you're a younger player who you may be in school and you're not yet in the gym lifting any weight, I'd recommend just getting a good pair of running shoes. These are going to be great for when you're training maybe indoors in a sports hall, or you're doing extra fitness and you want to work on your running. So get a good nice pair of running trainers if that's you. But if you're someone who is old enough to go to the gym, I'd recommend getting a solid pair of gym shoes. If you're someone who is a player who likes to do a lot of barbell squatting and Olympic weightlifting kind of movements, I'd recommend getting a pair of lifting shoes. Now, you can get these from a bunch of different companies like Adidas, Nike, just to name a few. And these are really good due to the fact that they have an elevated heel, which can provide you extra support and also improve your ankle mobility when you're performing movements such as a squat. But if you're someone who has good ankle mobility, or you don't need a specific lifting shoe, I'd recommend just getting a general kind of Metcon or CrossFit kind of shoe. I recommend the Nike Metcon. They're a really good shoe for wearing in the gym, just due to the fact that they've got a really good solid support system within the shoe, and it's got a nice solid flat heel, which is going to give you lots of support when you're making lots of exertions of force in certain movements, whether you're doing the leg press, or you're doing squats or any other kind of dynamic movement. They're going to give you a lot of support and a lot of grip. And yeah, I'd recommend having a really good pair of shoes for when you're in the gym or when you're doing your fitness. So the next piece of footwear that I'm going to recommend to you guys is a pair of formal, really smart shoes. Now, these are very important, especially if you're someone who goes to, a decent school, or you have to have a certain set uniform where the attire is smart casual for when you're going to games. You want to have a nice smart pair of shoes, whether you're going to like a presentation evening, or your club or your team has to arrive in like smart attire. Making sure you have a nice pair of smart shoes is really good, and a good investment. You can really mix it up. I know some people like to wear loafers which don't have the shoelaces, but then other people like to wear like the classic Oxford style kind of brogue shoes. It really depends on your personal preference, but just making sure you're not just wearing a pair of like scruffy trainers. You have a nice pair of formal shoes which you can wear on when you're going to those more formal occasions, or you need to look smart. Is a really good investment for you guys when looking at shoes. And then the final piece of footwear that I'd recommend to you guys and looking to invest in is a pair of casual or recovery shoes. Now, these most typically seem to be like sliders, Crocs, Birkenstocks, or specific recovery sliders for like athletes. These are really good because whether you're fresh out the shower after a game, or you're just after a training session, you just want something easy to slip on and off and be comfortable in, these are awesome. They're not the most expensive, but they can be expensive as well. You can grab a pair of sliders or a pair of Crocs for relatively cheap. But then if you want to spend a bit more money, you can, invest in the Birkenstocks, for example, which cost a bit more. But, some people prefer them just due to the looks and the style. But it's really down to personal preference. But I'd recommend definitely looking at a pair of, laceless slide-on kind of sandal or flip-flop style shoes. Just for ease and convenience, they'll be lightweight and they'll be very useful, and, they'll relieve a lot of stress off your feet. Especially after, you've played a long 80 minutes on the rugby pitch. You want to, give your feet some relief. So definitely look at investing in a pair of these shoes when you're off the field and just being casual and recovering. So yeah guys, those are the 5 shoes that I'd recommend to any rugby player out there to invest in and make sure they have in their kit bag. If you found this video useful, please do leave it a like and let me know in the comments if you think I've missed any shoes out. And with that being said guys, thank you for watching this video. Please do give it a like if you found it useful, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you.